everybody. We're from Texas A&M. I'm Mitchell Greenberg.
I'm Jennifer Jordan.
And we're part of Scepter Medical Devices. The rest of our team wasn't able to come in today, but we're Texas A&M affiliated team. Do you want us to switch these back and forth, or just?
You know, if you guys are going to be just talking back and forth, then yeah, maybe take it off your neck, just hold it in your hand, and speak, just so you can feel maximally awkward, because we think that's probably really important. We're recording that? Okay.
Yes.
Imagine that you've just been diagnosed with cancer, and in order to receive life-saving treatment, a tube has to be placed in your neck. And the last thing you want to worry about is receiving an infection that would cause this lifeline to be removed. Complications from infection can occur not only in cancer patients, but in all patients that receive a catheter. The moment the tube punctures your skin, you are 7 times more likely to receive an infection.
Over 250,000 people receive a central line infection per year. And these infections can be catastrophic because the tube lies in the bloodstream. In fact, 1 in 4 people die who get an infection from this. And it costs hospitals on average $30,000 per patient for treatment. And Medicare is spending about $1 billion per year on treating this issue. What would a hospital give to know that they can reduce this rate of infection? Our team at Scepter Medical Devices is working to develop a novel system that uses blue light technology to stop bacterial growth in its tracks and give you peace of mind and comfort that your entrance site is safe. Through the use of blue light, this wavelength destroys bacteria that could cause infection and other potential infection-causing agents, even ones that are resistant to antibiotics.
Unfortunately, current technologies and practices just aren't enough. Here at Scepter Medical Devices, our blue light device is able to deliver a higher quality care than existing methods. We have a cost-saving solution that can easily be integrated into current hospital practices that will improve patient care and provide peace of mind. Current methods of infection prevention are wound dressings that are sticky and sometimes infused with harsh chemicals. And because these dressings are changed on average 3 times a week, it can lead to skin irritation and a lower quality of life. But our device is applied like a wound dressing and utilizes the blue light to kill bacteria as opposed to current methods.
Because Medicare reimbursement to hospitals is now contingent upon meeting standards set by the U.S. government, Scepter Medical Devices can save each hospital well over $1 million per year simply by reducing infection rates. This technology would be useful not only in hospitals, but also at point-of-care clinics like dialysis centers or outpatient oncology. Currently, we have plans to partner with Baylor Scott & White to begin implementation of our device in their infection prevention processes. Right now, we're searching for materials that will give us profit margins of 80 to 90%. And at Scepter, we're initially raising $200,000 to take us through these benchtop experimentation, and we invite you to join our mission to wipe out infection. This is the remainder of our team at Scepter, and I guess that we're opening it up to questions.
Yeah.
Do you have any personal connections to this problem?
So Dr. Glow was an interventional radiologist. He worked a lot. He called himself a plumber because he was removing these central lines from dialysis patients frequently. And he actually left his private practice to pursue better systems, better ways for preventing infection, initially aimed at dialysis. And the more we researched this issue and talking with hospitals who'd be our customers, it's led us to go down for this larger path. But I guess to readdress your question, Dr. Glow has a close connection, and then we've been talking with patients, dialysis patients really, and getting to know really what it's like in their life to continually have these issues and just to see the issues they go through. That's really been the connection for us to improve their quality of life. Is really where we've been coming from. Yeah.
So, maybe you said it before, has anyone else tried the blue light approach as opposed to the conventional wound dressing?
Blue light is still a very novel technology. There's not a lot of research out there currently that addresses how blue light kills the bacteria. There have been a couple devices that have tried, but they haven't gotten to market. They're just patents that we know of.
So there hasn't been anyone using blue light for infection prevention in the manner we're using it, and there's a good amount of literature proving that it kills bacteria, prevents the formation of biofilm, but because this is new, it hasn't. We would be pretty much first to market in this space. There hasn't been any businesses out there that use this technology like that. Right now they use it for acne. That'd be a good example. It's the current one.
Is that going to give you a challenge to the FDA?
We don't think so. We need to work with some experts for FDA regulations, but from everything we've heard so far and talking with consultants, looks like we can pursue a 510K pathway, and if we need an exemption, hospitals are willing to do, like Baylor Scott and White are willing to do an IRB board with us. So it's definitely a huge hurdle, but I think we can overcome it.
Are there any side effects or concerns from that area?
From the blue light?
No. Actually, they use blue light in infant care. It's something called belly light, and they lay infants down on this blue light when they're first born in order to keep off the bacteria. So it's safe to use in babies, and there have never been any reported side effects from this. There are the cases of it affecting the eyes, maybe is what you're referring to, but there have been no proven studies that it damages your eyesight.
Yes.
I couldn't get from this, other than it's a blue colored light, what the technology is to do this. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So the actual wavelength of blue light, like true blue light, I guess intrinsically kills bacteria, breaks down the DNA, and kills it. So we're developing a way to apply the light directly to the entrance site, because that's where most infections occur. And if we can develop, basically our device would be transportation of the light to the skin.
What about the competitors in that market?
There's no one who's using blue light, but currently the current methods for wound dressing, they're using chemicals called chlorhexidine and tegaderm, and like we said, they're continually being used, but there's problems with them, and like that picture. So the competitors would be the current methods, but the hospitals are searching to find something better because they want to reduce that infection rate. So I would say there's low competition in that manner.
Sorry, one last one. Time to market. How long have you guys estimated how long it would take to bring a product to market?
That would depend on the FDA.
So are we talking 3 years, 10 years?
So we could do as soon as 12 months, and I would say no more than 5 years.
So this is great. So one of the differences between this program and what you guys have been doing previously in competitions is what you just told me is you've got a product that potentially cures death at 90% margins, right? What are the holes? Where does it suck? Because that's what the summer is going to be about. The summer is not going to be about making this pitch better. It's going to be about you guys now closer to this thing than anybody else in the room. You know what the gaps are. Clearly one's regulatory, which you don't really know yet. So we'll sort of put that over to the side as something that you'll be working on. What else?
So our biggest hurdle next is intellectual property and getting our utility patent filed. We have provisional.
Okay, so you don't know if you own the product that you want to take to market yet, and you don't know if the government's going to let you sell it.
We know that we are able to patent it through patent searches.
But it hasn't been issued.
We don't have a utility patent.
By the way, this isn't a beat up thing. This is just okay. So those are a couple things you need to work on over the summer. You need to make sure that you own what you want to bring to market. You need to make sure that you've got the best to sell it. All right, what else?
The only other thing that I can think of is convincing hospitals to change their current procedures. Because even though we found hospitals that are extremely interested in implementing our device, there are still others that are like, well, what we use right now is cheap and it's okay. And they might not want to change the procedures and reteach the nurses how to do things.
Okay, so you don't know if you own what you want to bring to the marketplace, you don't know if the government's going to let you sell it, and you have competition with existing practices in the most hidebound industry in the world.
All right.
Right?
Score.
But here's the thing, you were not doing enough. You have Dr. April Lovelady, which is the best name ever in the history of the universe. And I would change the name of the company to Dr. April Lovelady, and then sell whatever you want.
Alright, are we at time?
We're at 11 minutes.
And trial design. Think about what your clinical trial design may look like. Sometime over the summer.
Yeah, I think the trial design piece is important, only from, looking at this from a gap standpoint. I asked how long it takes to get to market. Understanding, I don't think that there's a clear, from what I saw, maybe you can correct me, there's a clear understanding of all the bottlenecks to actually bring the product to market. So I think one of the things over the summer, my suggestion is you work with your mentor on is, what are those critical bottlenecks that as Isaac was saying, to figure out, because it could be 10 years if you don't know what the bottlenecks are. You can get your product done and find out that there's all kinds of regulatory issues beyond what you thought. So I think even just identify the bottleneck and be able to go and say, here's where they are, I think is pretty important.
And since you guys are up first, let me just sort of hammer on that. A number of you guys as teams have been through business plan competitions, and the goal of those is to make your project look really, really good. The goal of this isn't to make your project look really, really good. The goal of this summer program is to figure out if you've got a business that you should turn down other job options for.
Yeah.
Don't lie to yourself. If it's going to take you 10 years to bring the product to market, find that out, right? Go into it really honestly trying to figure out how long is it going to take you to bring the product to market, not what is the sort of the shortest time period that I can say with kind of a straight face, which is what you end up doing with business plan competitions. That's what the summer's about.
Could I add one thing? It could be following on to what David said, that the practice, what the hospital needs to do, how they need to train, how they need to roll it out, that could be some kind of long pole or something that delays the rollout even more than the technology itself. So just to keep an eye on.
To address that, I've spoken with some of the infection prevention directors at Baylor Scott & White, for example, and they're interested in using this to improve their processes. So, but like Jennifer said, it varies. It's nice to know that a large hospital like that is interested in working to improve their infection prevention processes, and we're aiming for this to not be intrusive, to be easy to use, if not make everything. So that is a big hurdle, but that's kind of something we're hoping will be in the future.
And I'll throw one more out there too, besides clinical trial design. Reimbursement
From Medicare,
or from
we've done a lot of research on that. The long story short is Medicare is already paying the maximum amount of money they're giving them, and they're trying to take money away from the hospitals. So this is preventing hospitals from losing more money. So technically they get reimbursed for the materials they use in these procedures. So we're aiming to be the same price as what they're currently using, but in our mind we could charge more, since if we're more effective, we're preventing them. They lose 1 to 2% of all the money that Medicare would reimburse the entire hospital if they just are one infection over.
About 1 minute left.
Okay, sorry. Last questions?
Just it's kind of on the same subject, but really trying to get a good understanding of the value of reduced infections, especially for those hospitals that are very cost conscious, because that ultimately will be, the buyer who's determining if they're going to buy this product or not. And is there financial incentives and better outcomes for Medicare? I think they are trying to go that way, aren't they?
There's all kinds of stuff in ACA that demands a higher efficiency for industry. And the retraction of clawback in any payments if the patient returns within a certain duration.
Yeah, out of time. Thank you.